Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Hands Across the Water. And today we have a special guest again, Derek Clark. How are you, mate? It's great to have you.
Not bad, guys. Thanks for having me on. How are you all doing?
We're doing good, mate. Baz, what about you? How are you keeping?
Oh, all good, all great. Nothing like talking about the Rangers, Derek. So good and bad.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we'll just start quickly with our sponsors. So we're sponsored for Bars for Bruge AFC, a great football team that does a lot of charity work for all different charities in Scotland. They've got ex-Rangers players and stuff that play for them. They also have a Facebook page with nearly 40,000 people on it now. And wherever you're having a wee drink, anywhere in the world, if you put it in there, where can you watch the Rangers in a bar, they will always find you a place to have a beer and watch the Rangers. So now that's been done, our sponsorships are done with. Derek, mate, as I say, it's absolutely amazing to have you on. I think you were on a wee show. You've been on this morning. You're on again not long ago there talking about Rangers, and now you have to go through it all again, mate. But we really appreciate you coming on.
No, spot on. Thanks very much for having us. Yeah, I've been looking forward to having a chat with you boys. It's not often you get invited onto other Rangers podcasts, so looking forward to getting stuck in. Although the team haven't been blown us away, let's be honest. But it's always good fun talking about the Rangers, isn't it?
It is indeed, man. You've got the attire and everything on
tonight.
Yeah,
I blend in. Look at that. What a beauty that is.
That is a cracker.
Dressed to impress.
But as I say, Baz, it's great to have Derek Clark on, isn't it? We would always watch the Rangers Review, Derek, in the mornings, and it's always a great show, always very enjoyable.
Class, I appreciate that. Yeah, but it means a lot. We often come across folks that watch the show when you're out and about, and it's quite humbling, really, the amount of people that are tuning in. So, no, that's fantastic. So, it's just a joy. There's worse jobs, isn't there? But I was just off there, hot-footed it from talking to. There's a Belgian guy who was really good, incidentally, talking about Bruge and what we can sort of expect tomorrow. They're certainly a team in transition as well, as what he was saying. So, it could give us a bit of a chance tomorrow, perhaps.
What do you think of that, Baz? A quick scoop there from Derek. Hopefully it gives us, because we're going into this a wee bit worrying, aren't we, with the way the team's been playing?
Well, everybody's looking at an exclusive, aren't they? You know, about Bruges tomorrow night and how good they are and how they play, etc. So, hopefully Derek's wee bit of insight there shortly a while ago. I'll maybe give some of our own listeners here a wee bit of insight on how Bruges operate and what we may face, especially tomorrow night.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, we'll sort of skip. We haven't been on since the Alloa game, Derek, but we're not going to go too much into detail about it, obviously, because it sort of came and gone, and everyone will be wanting to listen about the Champions League and news that came out of the presser today. But what was your thoughts, mate, anyway? I'll ask you quickly of the result there at the weekend. Were you expecting for more, or is it just one of those cup games you just want to get through?
See, to be honest, I was apprehensive going into it, but given what we witnessed last week against Dundee, it was a free hit for Alloa, wasn't it? So, still serious questions over the defending. The first goal that was conceded was an absolute joke. You'd be expected. It's one of those lose-lose games, isn't it, for Rangers? You're expected to win. If you don't win handsomely, then the fingers will start getting pointed. So it's just one of those. Get through it. But I don't think anyone that attended that game at the weekend was leaving thinking, "Oh, right, we've cracked it here. The team are flying." So it was just a tick exercise. Get it off the list. Let's move on to Club Brugge, and then it's a massive game next week at St Mirren, of course, which. I'm a tad nervous about, I've got to say, and then obviously the biggie at the end of the month as well. So, it's a strange situation at the moment, isn't it? Because I think we're all expecting to see a wee bit more from the team at this stage than what's been served up. Tomorrow's a huge test. I think just getting here is an achievement in itself. So it'll be interesting. Although the team that took on Bruges a few weeks ago in that pre-season friendly, it's not exactly going to be the same team that takes to the field tonight. It's look at it on paper, it's certainly the back line. You've not got Leon King and Robin Proper at the back there. So that might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. Who knows? We'll find out tomorrow. But it's just one of those. Move on. Hibs will be a tough test, even though the draw is paired as at Ibrox. But move on from it. But certainly some questions remain over the defence, that's for sure. Certainly from my perspective on it.
Yeah, 100%. Derek can't disagree with anything there. Derek's right there, Baz. Really, it was sort of it was a lose-lose, because if you beat Alloa 5-0, everyone goes, well, we're not going to applaud that too much. We should be doing that anyway. But if you played a sort of scrappy game the way we did do, and I don't think we looked that great, even though it was 10 changes. But you're still probably expecting more from the guys who aren't getting the chance to come on. I think Bajrami had a good goal, didn't play too badly, but as Derek says, that goal, especially the first one we lost by, that was one of the worst I've seen in a long time. That was calamity.
Both goals were calamity. To be fair, there was very poor positional play from the defenders. It just gives too many of the fans the opportunity to stick the knives in even further, and that's always the worry, especially with the Alloa game. I wasn't apprehensive that we would lose against Alloa or we would lose the match, but it was more apprehensive about how we're actually going to play ourselves around the pitch. A lot of changes can unsettle any team. It doesn't matter what league you're in. That amount of changes will unsettle. Some of the players that did play probably know they're not going to get much game time during the season, and I don't know if the motivations are slightly with one or two of them. But at the end of the day, it was Martin. Unless Russell Martin got a team winning 5 or 6-0, he was always on a hiding to nothing by that result. But we're into the next round. He can dust that behind him for a tougher game in the next round with Hibs. But as Derek says earlier, you move on from that game, and you have to move on to the next games. Is what's ahead of you.
Yeah, just as you were talking about the defence, or Derek yourself, mate. What fears me a wee bit is the fact that we're getting so many loan signings in. As I was saying to Baz before we come on earlier, I'm like, we've got a left back in on loan, we've a right back in on loan, we've a centre back in on loan, we've got John Suter, who's currently, could be out of contract pretty soon. We've got James Tavernier at right back, who is, let's face it, on the downward trajectory.
Yep.
The only person you're really banking on with who the manager has been playing at all really this season in the defence is Fernandez. He's the only one we actually own, and it's sort of kicking the can down the road, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And like you, I've been banging the drum for this. There's a lack of experience in that back line for me. That first goal, you need someone just to command there and take ownership of that situation, and there's just no one there at this moment in time. Suter, his contract situation is just, it looks like it's just playing out as it is. We might have another Connor Goldson episode on our hands here with that one, but even still, he's been playing on the left-hand side. He just looks uncomfortable there for me. He looks uncomfortable playing this system, I've got to say. Just holding on to the ball until the last seconds. We've seen with it, the sending off of Giga last week, of course, came from a slack pass, but I don't necessarily blame Suter for that. He's been asked to do something that he's not been really made to do much in his career. So I feel a bit sorry for him with that respect. Fernandez is just an intriguing one. Good to see him getting on the score sheet. Good header the other day there. But with the money that's been spent on this lad, I was expecting to see a bit more from him at this point. I very much don't think he'll start tomorrow. But I think fans are well within their right to question why such a large chunk of money has been spent on this boy when he's not really getting a look in. I get he's one for the future, but could that money have been better spent elsewhere at this point in time? The left back situation, the boy Magoma, by all accounts, is a decent player, but is that what Rangers need at the moment? They're going to hang their hat on a 19-year-old just occupying that left back spot all season. Max Aarons has played there. He looks uncomfortable on both sides of the pitch, I think, since he came in. I'm not necessarily sure he's an upgrade on Tav at this point. And then who else you got at left back? Ridvan has just been frozen out and told to find a new club. Jefty's on his way out, of course, and Robbie Fraser's left. So you're very light there. Of course, we've seen Bailey Rice there at the weekend, which wasn't ideal. I don't want to see him there again. They need to go out and get an experienced left back in. I thought they would somebody would have fit that bill for me. I mean, I know a lot of people were saying go and get Josh Doig. Someone like that I'd be on board with. Even the lad from Hearts that went to AEK Athens, James Penrice, he could have done a job there, knows the league, bring a bit of experience. Just somebody like that surely would have been a decent enough signing. But the defence is very much a work in progress, and it is lacking experience for me, not just at left back, but I want another left centre back in there, I think. And then, I mean, right back, we're going with, as touched on there, Aarons. I don't think he's much of an upgrade on, or if, and sort of same level as Tav, to be honest with you. A lot of people are saying, oh, when Dujon Sterling comes back, but we've been saying that since he's been at the club. When he comes back from injury, I don't think you can rely on him either. So do you need another right back? Probably, but is it a priority at this point? It's probably down the list, I would say. We've got Magoma in. It remains to be seen if he's the main man, but the striker department is another issue that's a priority. But yeah, defensively, it doesn't look watertight, put it that way. And the chances that Rangers are giving up, it just feels like we're on the road towards a hiding from someone, which I fear.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Derek. I think I've been fearing the worst for myself. We're going to be playing someone soon who will take all these chances. You know, we're given big chances away quite often, and we've been very lucky. The likes of Motherwell, Dundee, and in Europe, the strikers we played hadn't had their shooting boots on. But as Derek says, they're bad if we get a good team and a good striker who's on form and he takes half of them chances, you could be getting a hiding.
Well, the reality is the way we're playing, that's inevitable. It is going to happen, you know. And you're not the first person, Derek, I've heard saying that. You know, we're playing too close to the edge in how we defend. And Derek's totally right. When you look at the defense and you go through the certain players you went through there, Derek, it's pretty grim, to be fair, of where we are. You know, and the best part of it is we've actually got the goalkeeper situation a wee bit back to normal because he's actually playing pretty well again. But we've now got the back four, or just seem to be all over the place. But we need to get a settled back four. You know, we need our left back and our two centre backs and our right back need to be playing week in, week out of a settled back four. And at the minute, it's very, very hard to see where that's coming from. You mentioned about Derek John Suter playing left centre back. It's horrendous watching him there. He looks so uncomfortable. You're totally right, and the system doesn't suit him. But it's up to Rangers to get out there and bring these players in that will suit what Martin's looking to play. Because the more this continues, the worse results we're going to have going forward. And I can see a hiding coming. I'm hoping it's not anytime soon, but given the quality we have at the back at the minute, and how they're actually conducting themselves in the pitch, it's going to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that Swansea boy told me that he needs specific pieces to make it work, his style of play, and it's clear that he doesn't have those players at this point in time, and they're being asked to do things that are a bit alien to them. So that's it. I feel a bit sorry for them to a degree because it is something that takes time, but easier said than done, asking for patience. I know Russell Martin's asking for it. It's all right asking for patience at the likes of Swansea, Southampton, MK Dons. At Rangers, you don't necessarily get patience, do you? So that's the only thing. I fear that, I've said this before, I think if Celtic keep up picking up points, which they often do, then by the time it clicks into gear, then we're in a race for second, never mind first.
Just getting back to the comments, it looks like I was checking there myself. The YouTube's went down for everyone at the minute. It's just playing up for anyone trying to stream at the minute.
Somebody told me that earlier. I think it might have been a StreamYard thing as well, but you're still live here at the moment. So I think it's I don't know, a worldwide thing or something. But yeah, Gremlins in the
Gremlins in the exactly a bit like the Gremlins in our defense at the minute, Derek. Just not doing his job. Just not doing his job, mate. But we're still on Facebook and stuff for anyone who can hear us. If you are having a bit of trouble, if you go over to our Facebook page and stuff, you can just still follow us on there and watch along. As you say there, Derek, it's okay if you're coming into Swansea and if you're playing your first two games of the season, you're playing away to Millwall and you say you get a draw. Or if you're playing at Queen's Park Rangers, the next game and you maybe lose, people can say, look, you know what, there's still time. And that's at Ibrox and at Rangers, mate, the league can be over in a month. And that's the difference. And I think the Rangers fans, Derek, and you know this like ourselves, mate, we've been doing this for a long time, this patience. And this is the problem. People are just fed up giving patience. And this is what is going to be the issue for Russell Martin. Like we've got Bruges coming up. We've got St. Mirren away. As I say, Stevie Robinson's from here. We know, as I say, he's a great manager at that level, knows how to set up a team to get points off us. He's done it regularly. You've got Bruges again away. You've got a game against them coming up. Then you've got Hearts. Then you've got Hibs in the Cup. And if we aren't getting the results, no matter what we say on here, no matter what you say on your show, Derek, the fans will just be saying time to go, and that'll be that.
A lot of them are saying that already.
Oh, no.
It was like that after the Motherwell game. The team get booed off. Remember that the Bruge pre-season friendly at half-time. So then I think Russell Martin, that would have shocked him a wee bit. But yeah, it's a different kettle of fish to the clubs that he's been at. Although he's been here as a player, albeit Rangers were a basket case then. So yeah, let's be honest, he wasn't the popular choice at that point in time. When he got the job, I was surprised as like many others that he was the guy who got the job at the time. He had to start well, and he stumbled in the league. I think a lot of fans are not happy with the entertainment factor, the football that's been served up at the moment. They expected to see more of an improvement than what we're seeing. And I think with the players that have been brought in, let's be honest, a lot of money's been spent bringing these guys in. I think they're entitled to see a wee bit more than what has been served up at this point in time. You want to see your creative players on the ball more than what they're doing. I think it's fair to say that the defence is just keeping hold of the ball more often than what we'd all like. We want to get the guys like Gassama, Antman on the ball. We want to get Mikey Moore on the ball, even Finlay Curtis, who came on the other day there. Get these guys on the ball, because these are the guys that are going to excite and create opportunities for you. But I get it's the style of play thing. Yeah, I reckon, as Russell Martin said in one of his press conferences, I can't remember when it was, what game it was after, he says, you just need to put up with a bit of pain at the moment, and then it'll be worth it in the end. But as I said earlier, it's easier said than done. This is Rangers. We're like you say, William. I mean, if you get a draw down there in the Championship, it's not the end of the world. It's pretty much at the end of the world up here. You're 4 points behind Celtic already, and pressure just intensifies. If you fall further behind, then it's going to reach a real crescendo. And the previous managers have succumbed. Second is nowhere, as we all know. So yeah, I have my doubts, as I've said there. I'm willing to give it a bit of time, but I think these, certainly at the games up until the international break, are huge for Russell Martin in terms of trying to change the narrative and get a few fans on side, because I've not seen too much support for him and his style of play at this point in time. But if he gets a result tomorrow night, backs it up with the game next Sunday, which is just Paisley at a 12 noon kickoff, which I've always hated. Like you say, Stephen Robinson knows how to shape a team up, and they'll fancy it, St Mirren. If he can take maximum points there and win that Old Firm game, it helps him massively going into that international break, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What do you think, Baz, as well? You know, as you know yourself, we've been doing the pods and stuff, the comments, you know, a lot of people's done already and have been for a while. Some were done before the guy even got the job. And what we're seeing, you know, like myself, I like to be optimistic, you know, but I'm looking for things to be optimistic about, you know, and it's we're struggling at the minute, boy, aren't we, to actually see any patterns of play, bar here and there, bit parts, but it's there's been no games really, apart from the home game against Pleasant. You can say we were very good the whole game, but apart from that, it's maybe wee spells of 5-10 minutes.
Well, the reality is you'll have more confidence tomorrow night at home to Bruge than you will going away to St Mirren. We've talked about this so many times, and that's a staggering problem to have, isn't it? It's ridiculous, and all the fans are like that. But this all stems back to the days from Gio and stuff. The fans haven't been happy for years. It's not just about Russell Martin. It's about the continuous year after year after year of no league title, not really challenging. You know, even in the cups we've been poor, done okay in Europe. But the Rangers fans aren't happy with that. And Russell, unfortunately for him, Derek, has came into the club at a really difficult time where the fans are just demanding success straight away. And unfortunately, patience isn't there. It's not there for Russell. And you're right, a lot of supporters didn't want him. We put polls up ourselves, Derek, and the polls were staggering. I mean, Russell Martin was very low on them. And it's like he's been up against it from the very start. You know, if there's a draw, if we're not playing well, it's now got to the point, Derek, when players are starting to pass the ball back straight away, the fans are starting to get irate. Yeah, it's so negative at the minute. What do you think about that, Derek? Are you feeling that?
It is, yeah, and it's hard because it sort of has an impact on the players on the park as well, because they need the support. But again, it's easier said than done. The Rangers fan base is such a demanding fan base. It's brilliant when you're winning and you're playing well. You don't want to play anywhere else. But when the crowd are on your back, it can be it can be tough, and the shirt can wear heavy on you. So, the thing is, when folks say, "Oh, it takes time," it took him time, several months at Swansea and Southampton. That's all right, but when he got it right, I mean, I know he gets Southampton up via the playoffs, but last season the Premier League, they were a disaster. I think you would have more support if, for example, he'd won the Championship with Southampton, blown teams away, and then he'd done well, maybe got Southampton mid-table and decided, right, enough's enough, I fancy a new challenge. If he'd done that, I think you would have got a bit more leeway, and a bit more fans thinking, okay, this guy knows what he's doing here. But you look at his track record, his CV, and you go, is he the man to lead Rangers back to titles? Because let's be honest, well, we thought that we were getting that with Philippe Clement when he came in. He'd won league titles, numerous titles in Belgium. He came in and it never quite happened, although he was dealt pretty much a bad hand. Gio is another one. Could he have been given more time? His football was dire, let's be honest, domestically, but he's another one that wanted certain players and didn't get them at the time. And if you look back at his tenure, he pretty much overachieved, given what he did, win the Scottish Cup, getting to a European final, getting to the Champions League group stages as well. So it's one of those ones. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, I guess, but we just need to get the appointment right, instead of having a summer rebuild every year and starting again. It's just costing too much money, and the fans are pretty much fed up with this. Again, you just thought over this course of the summer, new ownership, a clean slate, start challenging again, and it's almost been subdued ever since that managerial appointment was made, wasn't it? It certainly, as I touched on earlier, wasn't the popular choice, but as soon as he's appointed, the fans will give him time to go, right, okay, he's a man, let's get behind him. But they'll only get behind him if they see a product on the park that gives them belief that they can go on and really challenge. And we've not really seen that so much yet. The European games, like you said, Baz, they sort of take care of themselves. That's ever since Gerrard came in. I think it's just a strange one where you don't really have any concerns about Rangers taking on some of the best clubs in Europe. It's bonkers, really. But domestically is where it's at. We all want the league title. It's been far too long, and we've just allowed Celtic to rack up title after title. So is this squad good enough to win the league? I'm not too sure it is at this point in time. So certainly it's more work required, I think, before the end of the window. But it's one of those ones, it's going to take more than one window, I think, to get the players in that Russell Martin needs. And then even if he does get the players in, is the system going to work? So many questions at the moment. We're at a strange point in time with Rangers at this juncture. So you can only wish and hope that he starts picking up results, the mood starts changing somewhat, and we can go on a bit of a sustained run.
Yeah, and that's what we want, at the end of the day. Like, we don't want to be on here, none of us do, coming on saying, look, it doesn't look like it's working so far, and we're hoping it changes. We all want Russell Martin to do well. Anyone who's a Rangers manager, you want them to succeed, of course you do. It makes our job easier coming on here as well, and yours, Derek, and doing what you're doing, mate. But unfortunately, just so far, it isn't. And things like, the Dundee game, when he said he was surprised how Dundee played, and I'm going, you were here, Russell. You were here as a player. You played against it. You struggled against it.
Plus,
you say you watched the team,
season. Yeah,
and he watched the team last season. I'm going, the things they got, and I'm going, how do you come on here in a podcast and stick up for things they got, Derek, without making yourself look like an idiot? You know what I mean? If we're being honest.
Yeah. That alarm bells were ringing for me when he said that, because surely you know how teams are going to set up the likes of Dundee. You're coming up against a low block for much of the opposition that you face in Scotland. That should just be a given, other than probably Celtic. And if you go away to the likes of Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen, who their fan base expect them to have a right go at Rangers. But that aside, you're coming up against ultra low blocks, really, especially at Ibrox as well. So the fact he said that they weren't sort of prepared for that was, alarming to say the least.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Baz? That's the alarm bells ring. And you're, as you say, you're trying to come on here to be positive, and that's what we want to be. But you're seeing things like that, and you're going, gee, if you don't know the basics like that, coming into the job, but me, what have you been watching?
Yeah, he's obviously been watching a different Rangers, because there's no way he's watched that team from last season and hasn't understood what Dundee was planning to do against Rangers. That's madness for me. my alarm bell started ringing when he introduced Dell back into the team. You know, players like that aren't at the level that we need to kick on from. So I think he's being slightly stubborn, Derek, and some of the things he's doing at the minute. And sometimes you live by the sword or you die by it, and I think that's where Russell ultimately will be at Rangers. It'll either be a great success or you'll not last too long. But unless performances start to pick up very quickly, there's a difference, Derek. See if you're playing well. You see if the fans can see what you're trying to do. You're making movement. You're making good runs. You're all right. Maybe you're not scoring every chance you get, but you see if the fans see that positivity and the attacking threat, they'll give you time.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's got to tippy, pass back, 25, 30 passes, trying to make that one move, and it's not working at the minute.
No.
I'm hoping Derek, with the likes of Asegard in, that's the sort of player that might do that link up with the striker and maybe create a wee bit more. But the problem is shown, Derek, if he's not there, we do lack that number 10.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. Asgard, I'm looking forward to seeing him more. Whether he starts tomorrow night, I'm not too sure, but it was good to see him coming on the other day there. And like you, Baz, hopefully he's the link-up guy, because certainly by all accounts he's impressing in training. I've seen him a fair bit at Wigan, but it's all right. I mean, I've said before in videos, I've seen Kieran Dowell at Wigan and he looked good, but it's a different proposition doing the biz for Rangers, isn't it? So hopefully he's a success again. He's another one that Rangers spent a fair bit of cash on, very much highly rated, but let's hope he has a run of games and he can steer clear of injury, because you want to see your best players playing. It was good to see Mikey Moore as well. Hopefully he can do the business. Thought he sounds like a confident young guy, doesn't he? And Tottenham certainly rate him highly. So these are the guys, but like I said earlier on, these are the guys you want to see getting on the ball. These are the guys that will excite the fans and get bums off seats. So the more we can get the ball to these guys, the better, really.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping these guys come good. And Russell Martin may hope to come good very quick, Derek. Otherwise, the league will be over as quick as anything, as you know, because they don't drop that many points. It's just that simple. No. Another player I wanted to ask you about who's been totally froze out now. NCL is a big player for me, I thought, who would actually maybe would suit this system because he can pass out from the back. He's comfortable on the ball. We've seen him making actually a couple of lovely passes last season as well for the strikers and stuff, and good passes through to the midfield to get the team up the pitch. Now, he did make a few mistakes, that's fair, but I'm sitting looking and thinking, and if you've got John Suter playing there, who in my opinion is more of as a siege defender, he does very well for Scotland anytime he's playing. If Scotland's under the cosh a bit, he's great at doing that. But at Rangers, this playing out the back, he's in his 30s now, and it's hard to ask someone to do something different. I don't know your thoughts on NCL. Would he have been worth maybe giving a chance in this system, Derek, or maybe is his time past?
I would say so. It was a strange one. I don't know when Russell Martin spoke about him. It was one of the pre-season games, I think, where he said that he's had a chat with him and he needs to be playing games. So I think they were open to offers for him, whether that's a loan or a permanent move away. But I was surprised at that because I certainly felt he was good enough to be one of the four centre-backs this season. But he's obviously had a look at him and doesn't fancy him for whatever reason. But he's left-sided. I think he's pretty decent bringing the ball out from the back. He is raw, of course he is. That was just his first full season last season. It was just half a season, probably just a third of a season, because he came in halfway through against Dundee, if you remember, and was bombed out at the tail end of last season, wasn't he, by Barry. Came in against Bilbao, thought he did all right over there in Spain. And I thought he would kick on this season, I've got to say. So, yeah, I'm surprised at that. I'm also surprised that he's not being picked up by a club yet. We've not really heard of anything on that. I think a good few weeks ago, there was a few Belgian teams linked with a move for him. But it's gone quiet on that front. So, he's was just been frozen right out, hasn't he? But, yeah, like you, William, I thought he would have at least given him an opportunity, even in the pre-season games, just to see what he's all about. But he just went in and just doesn't fancy the look of him, which is, I guess, his prerogative. It's up to him. It's up to the coach whether he fancies a player or not. But I think we'll look at the centre backs at the moment. You get Fernandes, Giga, Suter. You need one more, don't you? I think Nobel Mendy looked to have been that one, but that collapsed over the weekend. So I think they need to bring an experienced left-sided centre-back. Of course, Ben Davies is still in the books there. You need to try and offload him. But you need to bring someone in of experience for me. Who that is, I have no idea. But I think, as I touched on earlier, Suter, I've got no problem with. Like you say, he is a bit of a siege defender, but I don't like him at left centre back. In fact, we touched on one of our shows last week about the need for someone like a Leon Balogun. I think Leon Balogun would get a game in this Rangers team at left centre back. Yeah.
No, so, and that was the problem again there, Derek, as you say. How many times did we play last season and we were starting the season off going, well, bring Balogun in just to cover, and he ended up always playing. We still haven't sorted that out.
No, I know. It's a strange one. And you mentioned earlier, 3 loans have come in, guys in the last year of their contracts. It's not ideal, is it? And fans, I think, are right to question what's the long-term vision here with regards to recruitment and why we just sort of bringing in stopgaps at this point in time. I think guys like Giga, I think you can tell the guy's quality and why you can understand why Wales paid a bit of money for him. I've got no problem with that. But Fernandez, as I touched on earlier, if you're spending that amount of money, could that money be better spent elsewhere in other problem areas of the pitch? Like you touched on earlier, the striker position, which I think is needing sorted out pronto. The jury's very much out. He looks like a big cracking lad, right enough, but perhaps Rangers, I think, have overspent on him. Certainly going by the Peterborough fans at the time, who were amazed that Rangers had spent so much money on this boy, but hopefully he can come good. He's certainly a big strapping lad, that's for sure. But again, as we touched on earlier, you can't really judge these guys against the likes of Alloa. It's against teams like tomorrow night and then next week, where the bread and butter that you need to come in and do the business.
Yeah, what did you think of that one, Baz? Like, as I say, Fernandez is the one we've spent the big money on, and he can't actually get a game in the team. He actually can't even get a game at them, and they've still possessed him with John Suter there and Giga. The only guy you've signed probably for the big money in your defence is the one that you just can't get a game unless it's the likes of Alloa or it was the pre-season match. It's just strange. I think the transfer policy is strange. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there's players in the midfield like Rothwell and all will be. I'm happy enough for that. The Asgard, and we've seen all these players that I think they will do well for us. But defense-wise, it seems like we're kicking a can down the road here.
I have to. You mentioned Balogun. When you look at how things are playing out, it's actually been a massacre that we have actually let him go, because he would have just slotted in there in the interim, Derek, just until we got somebody slightly better in that position. Because John Suter, obviously a left centre back, isn't working. We can see that it's not ideal. Enciala is a very, very difficult one, but again, it's down to the manager. He's had a wee look at him. He's not fussed on him. That's okay. That's a manager's, the head coach. That's his prerogative. If he doesn't want him there, he doesn't want him there. Fernandez is a difficult one. I actually thought the figure was wrong. Because I was actually surprised we paid $3.5 million for a Peterborough player. The negotiating must have been quite slack there, because I think we could have got him a lot cheaper, to be honest with you. Going by the Peterborough fans, they'd have probably been happy enough to get 350 grand for him. That's what I was feeling from it, Derek. You know what I mean? But I just don't know what we're going to do. It looks like certain players. It was all that talk about Cody that didn't materialize. He's off the Wrexham.
Yeah.
I think we might have dealt that hand a wee bit too soon with Fernandez. You're right, Derek, and we're caught in a bit of a crossroads here, because do we continue with John Suter at left centre back and let him continuously be out of his comfort zone, or do you take a chance for Fernandez and put him in there? I think he's 24, Derek, so he's not a 19 or 20. He's a big lot. He's an older player too. Not old, but he's an older player to what our new left back is.
Yeah.
So maybe you just throw him in. Some players thrive in that, Derek. Throw them in the big occasion.
I would
give him half a chance. If it backfires on Martin, he can't win either. He can't win there either, can't he? It's such a difficult situation.
It is.
Yeah, I'd say it's just but like yourselves, guys, it's a wee bit strange. Just the policy. I just don't understand it. To be fair, as I say, I can see midfield and go that way. I'm happy enough. To be fair, I think some of those players will be fine. The defense situation is just don't understand it. We definitely need like Mendy, even if we had got him, Derek. He's another player who's only played 13, 14, maybe a bit less professional games. So that isn't even the experienced player you would have wanted.
No. On Mendy, it's when the link surfaced, I can't remember when it was, last week sometime, wasn't it? Asked, there's a boy I know, that Betis fan, asked him about him. He said he'd never seen him much. He only played a handful of games, but he was playing for the B team. He wasn't really impressing, but he came in. They played Fiorentina or something. They said he did reasonably well against them. But yeah, his move to PSV collapsed earlier on in the summer, didn't it? Now this move has collapsed as well. So I'm not too sure the ins and outs of it. I've heard rumours that maybe on the medical side of things. Who knows? But that again, that's another one I was thinking, is that the answer really? Young guy, I don't know anything about the boy, I've got to be honest. So it's hard to pass judgment or make an assessment on him when you don't see him with a jersey on. And I would say that the same about Jayden Magoma as well. It's all right looking at it and going, dearie me, he's just a kid, but he might turn out to be a decent player. But I think fans are right to think it's another loan. Why are we loaning a Brentford player for a left back and just getting rid of a whole load of left backs, really? So yeah, it's a worry for me, I've got to say. I would like another experienced left back to come in. Who that is, I have no idea. But a left back and a left centre back should be priority positions for me. Whether Rangers can manage to bring someone in, who knows, if it's dependent on guys going out the door. I have no idea. But tomorrow night, does he fling Magoma in? I think he may do just that. Because yes, obviously naturally left-sided. I just don't want to see a Max Aarons out there, for example. We mentioned John Souttar being uncomfortable. Max Aarons looks a world away from being comfortable out there.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've heard it. I think you were asked our sniper by the sniper, Derek, about
Moreno.
I don't know if you know. Yeah,
I've not seen that, buddy. To be honest with you, I've not seen that link. So forgive me for that one, but I've no idea. Where does he play?
I'm not actually sure. I haven't heard it, and I just thought because Sniper would know be a regular commenter, so I don't know if he's seen something just while we've been on.
I think he's a left back.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that, I've got to be honest, but I might do a bit of digging after this, but I'll take your word for it. There's just been a whole load of players linked. That's the thing. I mean, the window shuts the beginning of September, so there's going to be even more players linked, but it's only natural that getting linked to left backs. The thing about the Rangers and bringing guys in, I mean, we had the story over the weekend about Magoma, and then before you know it, it's done. I think Martin was asked about him after the game against Alloa. And then he spoke about him, whereas when he was quizzed about Mendy, he was pretty standoffish and came across as I don't talk about players unless they've signed sort of thing. But then he spoke quite openly about Magoma, which tells you that it was pretty much already done and dusted. So it's one of those ones. I think that once a link surfaces, if it doesn't get done in the next 24, 48 hours, then you're thinking, no, is it going to happen? That's what it was a bit alarm bells going off for the Mendy deal, because it was like, what's happening? When's he getting announced? It was, by all accounts, it was done and dusted. And then the longer it goes, you're going, no, there must be something wrong. And that did happen to be the case on that one.
I'll ask you another thing then, Derek, because just before we come on, it was you guys that broke the news story, Chris Jack from Ranger Review, about Eggman and Lille trying to request a loan. Lille's been, obviously, there was all rumours at the start, 15 million, it's getting paid right away, and it's happening. That's why he hasn't came. And then it was Russell Martin, I think, it said nobody's actually even offered anything for Eggman. Now we're hearing that there's been an official approach with a loan signing, which makes no sense to me. How would that benefit us whatsoever? What's your thoughts on that one? Crazy, isn't it?
Rangers have laughed it off. I just can imagine them phoning up Rangers and asking them to take Hamza on a loan, no cash up front, and then seeing what the response to that would be. It's just bonkers, isn't it? No idea what they're on, but it's an insult to say the least. I think Rangers looking for upwards of 15 million, upwards to about 17 million quid, which I think they're well within their rights. They're in no hurry to sell Hamza Eggman. He's on a good contract. It's one of those ones. If you're not going to be serious about it, then don't bother putting the facts in or the call to Rangers about him, because it's just going to get laughed out of town. I think with Hamza Igeman as well, again, it was good to see him at the weekend. He's the best striker at the club. Whether he fits a Russell Martin style, who knows? I think Danilo, I just don't think it's going to happen for him. I don't think he can lead the line for a start. I think he's better suited as a link-up man. But even at that, I think Rangers will do well to get anywhere near their money back for him. Cyril Dessers, I know that the manager's hopeful that he's part of the squad tomorrow, which is, I thought that could have been a season ender last week when it looked like he'd done his ACL when he'd done his knee over there, but it was, I think it was his ankle more than anything else. So yeah, that's good news. I know he frustrates the life out of everybody, Cyril Dessers, but he's another one that will get you goals this season. I would not be surprised to see him getting upwards of 20 goals again this season. So I've got no issue with him as a squad player. Hamza, I wouldn't be selling him anywhere on the cheap. And then I still think Rangers need to bring in someone else as a forward. There's a debate to be had whether Rangers are suited to just having a proper number 9 up there, or whether they'd be better playing 2 up. But yeah, the strikers that are there at the moment, if they'll stump up the cash, then by all accounts I can see Hamza going. But yeah, as I touched on there, I don't fancy Danilo leading the line this season. I think Rangers need to go out. I've said it on videos before. I think they probably need to go out and bring in 2 strikers, but that costs money. I've seen that the Israeli lad looks to be on his way to the MLS, so that ship looks to have sailed with regards to that one. Who could they bring in? I'm not entirely sure, but they need to be doing more. I know that he was asked about it in his press conference at the weekend about the number 9, and he says that the number 9 that starts is there to sort of soften up the defenders for the substitute to come on and sort of benefit from that, which I can understand his reasoning a little bit, but we need to see more from whoever's been asked to lead that line. And by all accounts, I don't think Hamza will start tomorrow. It looks like it will be Danilo. I just don't think he's got it to lead the line for Rangers, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Baz, as Derek said, it's all right saying that you need number 9 to soften up for the next one to come in and benefit. But the problem is we concede too many goals. That's all right saying that if you're a team that doesn't concede much, and you've got someone coming on to score a couple of goals to win you a match or whatever. But it's just it's a bit strange. It's a bit like a defense. You can see that we have issues. Strikers, Danilo, he's been unlucky with injuries and stuff. But even when he does come on, it's not that he does loads wrong. He just doesn't do much right, and that's the issue. It's been for us. And again, you've got Dessers there. He comes on, and I know he gets a lot of people. He's Marmite, but he scores you goals. I don't think he's the right man either for the team. But it's a strange one where we haven't got these things sorted. As Derek said, our Turgeman, I think it's 6 million or something. I would have went for that. If you're going to pay 3.5 for a young player from Peterborough, why not get yourself a good striker, with a certain bangs in goals and has that experience of playing at decent level. And he looks like he's good even when he plays for Israel. He plays well, and for some reason it looks like he's going somewhere else because we haven't pulled the trigger on that.
Well, he's the sort of player that would soften up the defenders. I personally think the 3 strikers that we have don't do it. None of them actually soften up any of the defence. If anything, Dessers gets softened up the way he falls to the ground every 2 minutes. Danilo, Danilo, that's not his game. He's better. He'd have been great with who'd have been great with Derek? Mark Haitley. That's that's the sort of player beside him that he'd have thrived on. Because playing on his own, he gives 100%, but it just doesn't work for him. So it doesn't. I love it when he drops back. He has a great link-up play.
Decent as number 10.
See that 100%, and that's maybe something to look at when Assegaard's not there. Just drop him deeper. I thought he played well with Igeman when them 2 had a wee bit of a run together. Yeah. They looked quite good. But I think going forward, Danilo's not the answer. Dessers, great squad player, great to come off the bench. Igeman, who knows, Derek? Is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? We don't know. Nobody knows. Yeah. But yes, another striker is key, but a rough and tumble striker. He doesn't have to be a Lionel Messi, but somebody that can rough it up with those big centre halves and just give him a problem. My worry is when you come up against players like Vickers, Do we have a player there that can match somebody like that?
Yeah, we need a Morelos, a 2019-20 Alfredo Morelos vintage would be ideal.
Yeah. Mixing it,
yeah.
gets a lot of yellow cards, but he gets stuck in.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think, Derek, about the midfield then? Because obviously Raskin and the Rothwell, that's been a debate between the fans, and obviously Raskin's one of the, a fan favorite. A lot of people even wanted him captain at the start of this season. That's where a lot of people were hoping. But it seems to be it's been either Raskin or Rothwell. Could they not play together, or do you think with the likes of Asgard and stuff all coming in now, they will just play with one sitting back?
Well, Raskin starts over Rothwell every day of the week. If it's Raskin or Rothwell as a 6, it has to be Raskin for me. That's where he wants to play, so just play him there. I think he's looked a bit lost, certainly to begin with. Him and Diamandi, who hasn't started well, but again, I think it's because they're being asked to do things that they're not used to doing, and they're almost sort of second guessing things, and they've got almost information overload at this point in time. So that sort of sitting out wide to allow the fullbacks to come more centrally, I don't think it's their game. So Rothwell, incidentally, I think it's been decent enough. I think he'll be a good enough addition in midfield. There's an argument to be had whether it's better moving him one up maybe as an 8 as opposed to a 6. Probably that's better for him and Nico to get the both of them in the team. Maybe Nico sitting back in Rothwell and Diamandi just slightly ahead. That could be an option. But yeah, with Asgard coming in, he's coming to play, of course. So you've got him in there, and then you've got Lyle Cameron, who I thought has looked pretty bright every time in his appearances so far. So the midfield isn't a major concern for me, unless someone like a Nico leaves. Then you're obviously going to have to bring in a replacement. But I know he was asked about him today, Russell Martin, the rumours over the weekend about putting in a transfer request. He says that that's not the case. I don't know about you boys, but I'd be gutted if Nico was to leave. I want to see him in at least another season in a Rangers jersey, and I get his contract situation where he's got 2 years to go. He's a top quality, arguably, well, he is Rangers' best player. So you need to have guys like that in your team. So yeah, he'd be. I know Russell Martin said he'd be playing tomorrow. Certainly be in my starting 11 in every 11 going forward, really. But yeah, the midfield isn't working at this point in time as a dynamic, even though I think the quality is there. I just think they've been asked to do a bit too much from what they're used to, whereas football's a simple game. Just sometimes we overcomplicate things, and I think that's pretty much what's happening to Rangers at the moment, where there's just too much information being taken on, and they're thinking too much in their heads. As I mentioned earlier, just second guessing themselves, taking the easy option at times. Where Russell Martin said this before, be brave on the ball, take that more incisive pass, but it's easier said than done. So yeah, the midfield, Connor Barron's another one, incidentally, who has come in at points. Is he going to get enough game time this season? I'm not too sure. Bailey Rice, I think Stevie brought up an interesting point this morning where he'd send him out on loan. I think I would go along with that as well, because I think he needs to get up to speed with the pace of the game. I don't think he's quite there yet. So I think I'd be looking to send him out on loan. Do they need to strengthen there? Maybe, but I think it might be dependent on a player leaving before they look at strengthening in there. I think it's strong enough, the midfield, but it should be delivering more, is what I would argue.
I'll ask Derek this, Baz, and then you can answer it after. You said there, Derek, you wouldn't want to see Raskin go, which is fair, because you want to keep your best players. But say you were offered a really, really good amount, and you knew that you were going to get that striker that we really need in, get that centre back who we know who's got that competitive edge and has done it all before, and I'd like to have a good left back. If we were to invest it properly with experience, would you do it then, or would you, because it looks like it's not going to happen. It's too late probably anyway, because it's all right saying, oh, we'll get 25 million, let's buy him. It doesn't. We know it doesn't work like that, and it takes a long time doing all these negotiations. But if it was to guarantee, say, 3 quality players coming in, would that be a gamble you would take?
That's me, sorry.
Yes, sorry. Sorry,
William, I was miles away there. Yeah, it's a tough one. If someone is offering 25 million quid, and I think Nico Raskin will be on his bike, I've got to say. So if he is not going to be used as a 6, then I would be open to offers, because I don't think he looks comfortable playing in that advanced role that Russell Martin wants him to play. So yeah, 6 or nothing for me. And again, the argument is, why would you, if Nico Raskin was playing for another team, Rangers wouldn't be able to afford them. That's just a fact. So there's a reason why he's been put into the Belgium team. He's really highly rated. He was doing the business last season. You just play him there. Just make life simple for yourself. Play your best players in their best positions. And Nico, for me, is best in there at number 6, just dictating and closing things down, and sort of playing that quarterback position. So yeah, if that means Joe Rothwell comes out the team, so be it. But yeah, it's one of those, if Russell Martin sees Rothwell as his man at number 6, then I think we need to have a conversation about Raskin and his future. And I think he'll be looking towards his future as well. He'll be wanting to play in his favoured position. For this is a big year for him. He'll be wanting to be part of that Belgium squad for the World Cup. So I think, yeah, I can understand why. I know Russell Martin said he had a few phone calls over the course of the summer, teams or whoever looking to prize him away, which I'm not surprised about, to be honest. I imagine it would be his agent looking to see if there's a better deal for him elsewhere. He's only doing his job, of course, but yeah, it's one of those ones. If he's not going to be played in his right position, then I would be open to offers for him, which would be gutting, because like I say, he's Rangers' best player, and you want to see these guys in a blue jersey every week.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Baz? Because you're a big fan of Ross, and you were actually one of the ones, you were on to me all the time. That man needs to be our captain. That's who we should, that'll be a big marker with the 49ers. Nice contract for Ross, and get the captain's armband on him, and let's start building a team around this guy. And that's what you were wanting yourself, Baz. And it's a wee bit disappointing that he hasn't really got in much. I know, Barry, you like the Leeds as well, and you've watched Rothwell. But like Derek says, there could Rothwell maybe not just play up one? And we've seen him at times on the ball. He can't go through the defenses. We've seen him do that. He's good with the ball when running. So I can't see why he hasn't tried that one.
Well, when Rothwell played for Leeds last season, he actually played with, there was 2 sitting midfielders. That's how Leeds play. They play with 2 midfielders in front of the back 4. And it's something, Raskin and Rothwell could both play like that. I mean, Raskin sits in the 6 and lets Rothwell go forward, because we actually haven't seen really the 2 of them playing together.
Yeah,
that's a possible option, because Diamandi's not really doing it at the moment. So why not try that experiment? And it's the best of both worlds. Raskin gets his number 6 back, he gets a smile back on his face, and Rothwell's still allowed to play and make them forward runs. Technically, Rothwell's slightly better in moving the ball forward maybe than Raskin, but Raskin's a better mopper up and a better brain at the number 6. And I seen that last year, Derek, with Rothwell, and how he was able to play in that too, because it's pretty evident that Martin's going to stick with Rothwell. And if that's the case, I'd like to maybe see that. Just try it. Just try that, them 2 players out. When we go, William's totally right. I'd have loved to have seen Raskin get the captaincy at the start of the season. And it's nothing against Tavernier, by the way. It's not an anti-hate Tavernier camp. It's got nothing to do with that. I just thought with the new owners, the new management setup, a new captain, a young new captain really would have been something that you could have done. I don't remember, Derek, years ago, Arsenal done it with Fabregas.
Yeah.
They just handed him the armband and says, go ahead. And he thrived. He thrived on that big time. And I actually think Raskin would be the same type of player. When you see a decision on that pitch, Derek, the first person to run to that referee and make a complaint is Raskin. Every time. Yeah. He's the first one to see it.
But he was given that, remember the Old Firm game, wasn't it? At New Year, he was given the armband. He was brilliant that day. So yeah, I would have, I'd be on board with that. But I don't think Tav was ever getting it taken up. I don't mind him being a club captain, but we've seen Suter with the armband when he's not been on the park, haven't we? Suter's sort of been the go-to man.
He's part of the 4. He's part of the leadership group, so he's obviously looked upon as one of them players that'll lead.
Yeah. Well, Kieran Dowell's one of the leadership group as well, and I don't understand that one whatsoever. But we're coming up to the hour mark anyway. And what's your thoughts for tomorrow, Derek? Is there optimism there?
See, to be honest, before I spoke to this Belgium chap, Hans, I was a bit I was nervous, I'm not going to lie. I think I was worried that Bruges might take a few off Rangers, but they're in, as I mentioned earlier, a bit of a transitional time as well. They're not firing on all cylinders. The boy that scored that beauty at Ibrox, incidentally, said that he's been poor since he arrived. So I think Rangers have got a chance tomorrow. I think they need to take something over to Belgium, pretty much like the 2 previous games. Said that before, Panathinaikos and Pilsen. Said that Rangers need to take a lead of some sort over for the second leg. I think if they can do that, then they give themselves a chance. So yeah, if they avoid defeat tomorrow, you always think Rangers are capable of pulling out a result in Europe, aren't you? But I think getting to the group stage would be a monumental achievement, I think, for the club. I mean, the finances that will open up would be incredible, albeit you're going to be on the receiving end of a few tonkings, I think. I think that's just being realistic. But I think it will be a massive achievement for Russell Martin. I talked about earlier that fan feeling, getting fans to start believing in what he's trying to do. I think victory over Bruges will certainly help with regards to that. But tomorrow night, I can actually see Rangers picking up a result, either a 2-1 or a 2 apiece. I think it'll be close over the 2 legs. But I don't think they'll get blown away tomorrow. Well, I hope they don't anyway.
What's your thoughts on that? But you normally are optimistic for European games. It's the Dundees and the St Mirrens that normally scare us in this podcast. But Bruges are a class act, and we need to be not just as open because we could get hurt. But as Derek says, if they're under a wee bit of transition and some players aren't firing all cylinders, then hopefully it's a positive for us to go in tomorrow and get a result.
The team sheet's going to be. I am fascinated to see how the team sheet comes out tomorrow night, because that's going to give us an indication pretty early of how we're going to set up. I just pray and hope to goodness he does not put Orange at left back. That would be a murderous situation, Derek. I couldn't cope with him there anymore at left back. He just gives me nightmares. Orange, and it's the setup, Derek, isn't it? It's really how he sets the team up tomorrow. Well, is he gonna put Ossegard on? Is he gonna take a chance with him? Is he not? Is he gonna play Suter at left centre back? It's so difficult to work out what he's going to do. Is Mickey Moore going to start ahead of Gassama? Is with Antman there? It's a strange one. It's how he gets them front 3 as well. Danilo. I don't know. I'll reserve judgment until I see the team sheet. And then I'll probably have a prediction in my head after. Until then, Derek, I do not know. It's a difficult one at the minute.
I think if Dessers is fit, I'd be tempted to start Dessers, but he needs to hold the ball up better than what he did, certainly away to Pilsen, where it was just bouncing off him. But if he's anywhere near fit, I'd be starting him. I'd probably start Gassama and Antman. Just stick with those two, and then you've got Moore to bring off the bench if need be. And then, like you, left back, I'd be tempted if Magoma's fit just to stick him in there, because he has a left back and Rangers don't have any others apart from Ridvan, who's just been told where to go pretty much. So, I think there's a debate to be had whether Aarons plays maybe right back. I think I'd probably be starting Tav, I've got to say. And then the midfield, we touched on it. I think he sticks with Raskin, Diamandi and Rothwell, but I may be wrong there. Cameron might come in. So it will be fascinating to see.
Yeah, 100%.
Who it lines up really tomorrow night.
Oh, sorry, Derek, you froze there just for a wee second, but you're back again.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
So that's us.
Sorry,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's got options. Yeah, sorry, I'm cutting in there. Yes, he's got options at least. So it will be interesting to see what the team is tomorrow. But very much looking forward to the game. Yeah,
100%. Well, that's us sorted at the hour mark. Derek, thank you very much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed yourself coming on.
No, it's been super, William. Thank you very much again for the invite. Like I said, I don't often come on as a guest at any other Rangers podcast, so it's always good fun to be asked. So hopefully you enjoyed that, folks. And always a joy talking all things Rangers. You're always welcome at any time. You'll always be welcome on here. Do you just want to give a wee shout out to what you do with the Rangers review and stuff? If anyone wants to find out how to get in contact, I'm sure that most of them watch you anyway, but just in case. Yes. Yeah, no sweat, buddy. Yeah, so you can catch us Rangers Review on YouTube on every weekday morning, 9:30 till 10. Cover all the games, of course, as well. So tomorrow we're on again at 9:30, and then we'll we'll have I think Chris and Josh are at the game tomorrow night, so we usually go live when the teams drop, and then on full time as well to give a reaction. So yeah, just Rangers Review on YouTube, folks, if you want to go and check us out.
And Baz, yourself, it's been great to have Derek on. It's been an enjoyable show.
Well, he started off brilliantly wearing the Northern Ireland shirt, so that was a major plus. You can't go wrong, Derek, when you do that. You know what I mean, man?
Yeah, it's a beauty.
Fantastic to have you on, Derek. We watch a lot of your shows, so it's good to have you on our show. You know, the credibility it gives us is fantastic as well. You know, so really appreciate you coming along, because we're relatively new, Derek, and we're trying to push this Northern Ireland Rangers side as much as we can.
Yeah,
you know, there's so many Rangers fans over here, and we're trying to get that voice across from over here. So we really appreciate you coming on, mate.
Yeah, some effort, you boys. I mean, I've seen a good few that are from Belfast that make their way over for the games, and it's some effort of every other week to make it to Ibrox and then beyond as well. So fair play to you.
Thanks, mate. Well, everyone who's been listening as well, hope you've really enjoyed yourselves. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and also get on the Rangers Review. You'll be with them in the morning as always. I do enjoy because it just gets the blood pumping at the very start, and especially with the match tomorrow, Derek. It'll be good. Now, I know sometimes we've had Stevie on, and sometimes you don't even need to know what the match is, you know, or what the result's been. All you have to do is look at Stevie on the Rangers Review and see if you see the sulking face, and you know it's been another bad one. It's like and then you get that smile. We've got one smile from him this year, and unfortunately, it didn't keep it for long because we've been back to playing pretty poorly. But no, it's a great show, mate. What you do, and absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
you're welcome. So anyone, there's a few asking when we're going to be on next. We've got a Ulster Bears show we've been doing on a Friday, trying to get local guys on to talk about their clubs and stuff. So we're hoping to have someone on for Friday. If not, we'll be on our usual Monday slot. But thank you very much for everyone listening, and we will be back with you again soon.